lads, MBs, and lasses. For those of you who live in the Harris Branch neighborhood in Austin, Texas, my name's Anthony, and I'm your neighbor. For those of you new to the channel, this is just a monthly update on our residential Harris Branch meetings. I post these once a month and try to cover these meetings in a short, meaningful fashion, so that way you don't have to necessarily log in or attend in person. So what we do is simply go over what was talked about at the meeting, and then we go over the meeting agenda. This meeting happened on June 16, 2022. These run from 6:30 to 8 p.m. A lot of times they'll run a little bit later. This meeting was a community meeting, which in the past, what this normally meant is that they would provide a large auditorium or something of that nature, so that way many members of the neighborhood could show up and participate. I believe there's been anywhere from 20 to 30 people to sometimes even higher than that. I know the few ones that I participated in, that was about the average number, and we normally did it at the elementary school. However, that is no longer going to be the case. Once the Community Amenity Center gets completed, there'll be a conference room in the new amenity center where they'll start hosting these, so that way members can show up there in person. This one, as you can see, was at the Goodwin conference room. I believe also the board were there. I'm not sure if there were many homeowners who drove all the way out there. So what'll happen is the president, Mike McLaughlin, will introduce everyone on the board. I believe at the beginning there was 3 out of 5 members there. They will review the previous meetings minutes. Those are also posted on the Town Square site. They go into a little bit more depth. The secretary normally writes those. I believe Gary Belcher has been doing that as of late. Not sure if there will be a new secretary that takes on that role after these elections. The Treasurer's Report, this is also another document that is posted on the Town Square. Jorge has been the treasurer for quite a while now. He's been really good at it. One thing you can always do is go to the link in the description below, Town Square, and you can review the financials of the neighborhood each month. That is something that's relatively easy to locate. And then if you have any questions on how it's to be read, you can always reach out to Raquel with Goodwin in order to have some of those questions answered. So the Homeowners Forum normally happens in the beginning, and these community meetings, they tend to wait to the end since there's so many homeowners. There wasn't much to be covered there. There was a few homeowners who were wondering if these meetings were recorded live and then posted somewhere. There was additional questions regarding where homeowners can find information about what the HOA is doing. Many of those links I have posted in the description below. Feel free to click those and log into your Town Square to look at those updates, as well as the old videos that are posted on this channel where I cover many of these topics. There was only one item on the Treasurer's Report that Jorge discussed, and that was the legal cost that the HOA has been incurring and its effort to drive down outstanding balances, essentially a punitive measure against homeowners who have been fined and haven't paid their fines. This has been a pilot program, if you will, to verify if the cost of paying the attorney to go after these delinquent accounts is more valuable than simply trying to work with homeowners and help them drive down those fees in mutual cooperation with the HOA, as opposed to dealing with the HOA attorney. Number 5, President's Report, neighborhood updates. The monuments or lights are coming for Meadowview, Lakeview North, and South. The screens at the tennis courts have been finished. I believe they did not put in those backboards that the board removed. They had reached out to the neighborhood for feedback, and unfortunately we did not get a lot of feedback from homeowners, so those backboards for practicing have been removed, and at this point probably are not going to be installed. Additionally, the Lacebark elms along the Harris Branch Parkway, a few of them have been replaced, and there has been additional removals of the smaller ones. The large ones were removed by a different company than our usual landscaping company, Sunscapes. I have yet to see most of the smaller ones that they removed be replaced, as I mentioned in my previous video, and I'll make a shorter video in regards to the rapidly disappearing greenscapes and landscapes that this neighborhood used to have, as these plants have died out or been mismanaged by our Sunscapes company. The president also went over the ACC new members that they have been working with to start their training. The president, VP, and the HOA attorney are planning to set up a seminar or a training class for the new members of the ACC board to help them with onboarding for their new roles. The ACC, as a reminder, is the Architectural Change Committee. That is a group of volunteer homeowners who vote on items that other homeowners wish to do to their exteriors, be it roofs, outdoor paint, pools, rain barrels, solar panels, any of those items are supposed to be submitted to the ACC for approval prior to them being completed. These are very crucial roles in our community because it will help shape the character of our neighborhoods. By the time of this recording, there might have already been a 4th of July party. I know they sometimes do a small parade. They try to get the fire department to drive through with the fire truck and have kids on bikes, as well as do sparklers and glizzies and all sorts of typical 4th of July festivities. These things normally occur at the community center on the 4th. However, due to the extreme heat, I am not sure if that completed. I, of course, did not attend due to that heat. The president lightly touched on the Samsung spill. This is something I've covered in previous videos. There's pictures of where this was located. This is still an ongoing thing where Samsung is trying to soften the blow of their toxic spill into our waterways and attempting to create better PR/goodwill with the neighborhood. That has been something that Gary Belcher and Raquel were supposed to report on. I don't think they did that at this community meeting. I think they did not do it at this meeting simply to kind of keep the meeting short, or it hasn't happened yet and they'll be reporting on that next meeting. The president also mentioned the street lights that have been out. There are some neighbors who are very focused on ensuring that all the street lights are up and running. Many of the ones along Harris Branchway are in fact important, are too closely placed, and some of them are very bright, creating a lot of light pollution for homeowners who are trying to enjoy the evening or sleep without a lot of light coming through their windows. Additionally, there is going to be the 2021 audit that will begin. This is a process where the HOA hires a third-party company to audit itself. This is to keep track of all the money as far as where it's going and to ensure that there's no abuse of power or funds when it comes to the HOA expenditures. Something else that we need to also know, and I'll go into detail in another video, I had mentioned this before, is the elections are coming up. I believe that will happen on September 15th. I misspoke in the previous video and incorrectly named Jorge Gomez as being up for election. It is actually David Alley, the VP, and Gary Belcher currently standing in as the secretary. So if you are interested in running, please run. I recommend that you tell your friends and neighbors about it and ensure that they're aware of how the proxy votes work. Unfortunately, the messaging that the HOA sends out is really misleading and tends to cause a lot of homeowners to give their proxy votes to the HOA president, who then uses it to ensure that friendly of his regime are kept on the board. So that's just something to keep in mind. These things are normally done online through Election Buddy, so it's very easy to go and simply click a button and hit submit. So please, please, please let all the homeowners know about the election coming up and the 2 seats that are available. We desperately need representation that is looking to bring more value to the neighborhood in the non-traditional sense. Some things that I think are really important that we have are the repair of sidewalks, the increasing of walkability in the neighborhoods, the increasing of tree cover and landscaping, and the removal of turf grass that has been draining us when it comes to our wells and our watering programs, simply to make this neighborhood cooler as we continue to heat up in these summers, and also to increase the aesthetics. I know a lot of people think that the fences are an important thing, but something to consider is that you can fix a fence almost immediately. You can't install a 40-foot tree. You're going to have to wait almost 50 years for that to happen. So it's so important that we start doing that now in the understanding that future generations are going to appreciate that. I can tell right away when I walk in newer neighborhoods in our Harris Branch HOA how much hotter it is there due to the lack of tree cover. And it's just a baking oasis of concrete and turf lawns that make it very unbearable to be in those neighborhoods, whereas the older neighborhoods where there's much larger trees and bushes that cover the sidewalks, that is a much more enjoyable walk. I'm sure many of you who walk the neighborhood are well aware of the lack of walkability in the sidewalks, bike lanes, which are non-existent, in the tree cover for keeping us shaded and cool. Number 6, the community report. This is Raquel's report. They are putting kitty mulch in the playgrounds in Lakeview South and Speyside, as well as the community center. And at Edinburgh, which is north of Parmer, which is also part of our Harris Branch HOA, they're installing pea gravel at that playground. Something that I forgot to mention in regards to the streetlights is how the HOA was able to document all the ones that were out. One of those issues is because when Bluebonnet or Austin Energy come out, they don't check those lights during the night because normally that's when those people are off. So you have to ensure that you have recorded the correct light and told them where it's at because they come out and install it during the day. The community manager, Raquel, was able to get a compliance driver from Goodwin to drive the entire neighborhood and document all the streetlights that were out. I'm not sure if there was an additional cost to the HOA for this or if this was just done because of the great amount of money that we do give to Goodwin on a monthly basis. Number 7, community reports. Gary Belcher has members in the neighborhood, and you're always welcome to become one. Simply email Raquel, Mike, or Gary, any of the members on the board, to be honest, and you can become a committee member in the sense that you report on sort of the attitudes and the feelings in the neighborhood. It's not much in regards to volunteer time. You simply say, hey, my neighbors are having this issue or they're really pleased with this. It's a really great way to get feedback to the board and give the board action items, if you will, to then go out and address. Gary did mention there's a lot of praises for Goodwin and Raquel. They're happy with the feedback. The new fence committee that went around and decided which fences need to be restored. This includes power washing and then restaining. This is a multi-phase plan, I believe well over $100,000, and it's already gone over budget. However, the homeowners that are focused on those aesthetics are pleased with the outcome of the power washing and staining. I think the last piece is for Sunscapes to go out and adjust those sprinkler heads so that way they're not worn in a manner that you can see where the spray hits them. Should make them last longer in regards to keeping their staining. B, the fence committee, that was one that Martin started. I've covered that multiple times in previous videos. He was not there. Moving on to number C, the architectural change with Raquel Prado. I mentioned the new members that will be joining and the training that the VP, president, and attorney are planning to run. She mentioned that there were 9 requests in the queue. I made a video. It's also here. It's called ACC Requests that teaches you and shows you how to do ACC requests. Simply click that video and follow those steps and you can start submitting your changes as well. D, the amenity center expansion. Mike reported on this. The amenity center expansion, as I've said in previous videos, has been a multi-year project. There's something that you need to understand when it comes to it. There is the construction or the contractor that we hired called Cooper, and then there is a architecture firm called Place Design that we hired to help us in regards to driving and managing the process of completion of the building, the design of the building, things that most of the folks on the board are unaware of, not necessarily experienced in. So that's why they hired the architecture committee to assist with that. Now, in the final phases, the contractor Cooper is starting to be reluctant to complete a lot of the items that the board did in their walkthrough as regards to things needing to be completed, finishing outlets, fixing security wires, small little things that should all be completed by the builder in order for us to get our money's worth in regards to the building. Place has been the arbiter in that, and now I believe there's been a standstill between them. There's going to be a termination letter sent, which then causes a 7 days to comply legal piece that the contractor Cooper will have to, and then hopefully we'll finally get all those last little items done, and then the full occupancy permit, so that way Raquel can set up shop in there, homeowners can visit in there, and community meetings can occur in there, will all begin once that is done. Last piece on that was the sidewalks. Unfortunately, the builder and board put in 5-foot sidewalks instead of 6 feet of sidewalk. We know that it's really important to have good sidewalks, especially if you don't want to drive a car up to the amenity center. Board was given a exemption by the city to stay with the 5-foot as opposed to 6-foot sidewalks. E, communications by Raquel Prado. This has been something that I mentioned in the last video. The board is handing the communications piece to the community off to Goodwin and Raquel, who is our community manager, and they are working to put together welcome packets, introduction to the rules and CC&Rs packets, as well as the external website for those who may be interested in moving to this area can look and see sort of how it's run and the things and amenities that it offers. The additional piece there is it will also be updated for homeowners to go. Essentially, I believe what will happen is Town Square will be modified to better suit the needs of the Harris Branch residential neighborhoods. 8 here, Old Business. They ratified the lifeguard for hire. That's going to open in July. The pool maintenance issue with the lifeguard, testing back and forth. I talked about that in the previous video. The board had to make a decision on who to go with, the pool maintenance or the lifeguards, in regards to their testing methods. They decided to vote to go forward with the lifeguard company, and all the members, the other 2 showing up later, voted 5-5 to ratify that. And so now there will be pool hours. And that brings us to the pool hours. This is posted on the Town Square website under announcements. You can always go there. That, again, link is in the description. You can see here the times. The pool season runs from May 21st until September 25th. During the season, the pool is open from Monday through Friday until June 3rd. It's closed. Then Saturday and Sundays, it's 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Then once the 4th rolls around, Mondays it's open from 11:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. I'm going to assume that's supposed to be 11:30 a.m. Tuesday to Sunday, it's 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then August 15th to September 25th, the Monday through Friday schedule of it being closed returns, and the Saturday through Sunday schedule of 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. open to close returns. The special dates and events: Memorial Day, Monday 5:30, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. is the pool times. Independence Day, 7/4, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then Labor Day, the 5th, is 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Again, you can always find these at the Town Square. You can find the rules as well. I won't read over those too much. You can go ahead and click the links and read that on your own. I know that's a big question driver when it comes to the communication side of the neighborhood. So good news, the pool is open, and feel free to go out there and enjoy it. Be sure to request your access card before you go. You can also do that on Town Square as well. Number 10 here, the homeowner forum. I covered that in the beginning. 11, they adjourned the meeting. And then A, the executive session, they discussed violations. This is only privy to members on the HOA and the HOA attorney, so there is nothing to report on there. All right, hopefully this has been helpful. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in below. Hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with what's going on in the neighborhood. There's all those links in the description as far as community-run groups on Facebook in Town Square. Always feel free to click those and join those as well. And as always, y'all stay safe out there. Take care now. Bye.